Brandon Moreno, would you guys leave me a comment, please? Our things here are very social for me. I spend a lot of time at home where I'm in the studio. So our comments and our chats are very social. So when I come and I ask you for it, it's quite sincere, if you wouldn't mind. But where do you stand with Moreno? Because I feel like I had better start getting on board. And I haven't been there. Now, I got nothing against Moreno. He's just a nerd. And he did something that was wildly annoying for me, but it wasn't his fault. He kept fighting the same guy over and over and over again. We didn't want to see it the first time. That's why it wasn't on pay-per-view. I'm just being real, right? Like, there's a reason it was where it was, in front of who it was in front of, not for that. It turned out to be just a spectacular event. I'm just sharing for a lot of spectacular events that I didn't want to see. Now, I'm not being a dick about it. I'm trying to set the stage. So now we got to see a rematch. Okay, that was the right thing to do. Still don't really want to see it, but it is the right thing to do because that first one was so damn competitive. And that's what you do when you have a draw. So we see the second one, and then by God, we got to go and see a third. And I can't remember, guys, there might have even been a fourth. If there has ever been somebody that I was so great, thank you. Thank you. If I can ever do something for you, thank you. It was Figueiredo for leaving the division so I don't have to see him and Moreno again. And it's not just the fight. Like, the fight was actually pretty pleasurable. It's the build-up to the fight. You got one guy that doesn't speak because he can't. He doesn't know the language. You got one guy that doesn't speak. You got another guy that when he speaks, he smiles. He looks like a little boy. He doesn't look like a cage fighter. And you're trying to sell this to the public. Oh, my God. Then it turns out when I tell you I better get on board with Brandon Moreno, turns out you guys love him. He is big. He's big. And me sitting over here, he's a dork. What kind of high school bullying mentality is that by me? I've actually never met a person that doesn't like him, that knows him. Daniel Cormier says such great things about him. I got to meet Rojas Jr. Sat and watched the card at the Sphere. Mexican Independence Day, correct? Yeah. Trying to think of what that event was called. I got to watch it with him, and Brandon Moreno's name came up. Oh, man, it's Rojas Jr.'s face lit right up. Much like Daniel Cormier's, Tony, it lights right up. James Krause had brought him in, wanted to be around him. James Krause basically recruited him. Hey, you got to come out here. I got some stuff for you, man. You can be champion of the world. Let me help you be champion of the world. Let me help you become champion of the world. People have to really like him to do that. And so Brandon Moreno's now in a spot. He pops on Ariel Helwani's show. And he believes that he's got one fight, and then he's going to be fighting for the title. And if the guy's over, the guy's over. We can be done here. If you guys like him and you want to see him fight, and you're going to mark on your calendar, have some friends over, get a pizza because Moreno's fighting. Okay, we can all get up and walk out of the room here. It just seems like, boy, he's got a hold of the right tool. It's just by the wrong end. Like, there's something here with Moreno that's a miss for me. The fact that I would talk to him like a high school bully, this guy's a nerd. Well, why is he a nerd? It sure as hell isn't because he can't squabble. It's not because he doesn't have heart and grit and guts. He's got all of those things. Why is he a nerd? He smiles a lot? Maybe. Maybe that's where I'm thrown off. Maybe he's too polite in interviews and he doesn't come off like a cage fighter to me. But if he's over, but I'm asking you, is he? I know some experts in this sport. I don't know where you get the rankings. I know you guys always have them and it pops up. I don't know where you get them. When I know if a guy is ranked, it's either because Mania or Elbow included that in the story that I just read, or because I just got done watching the UFC and they listed it. Like Khamzat Chimaev was ranked number 13. I had no idea. I couldn't believe he was that low. I've recently found out Bo Nickel isn't ranked. I've recently found out Paul Craig isn't ranked. So even if Bo gets to jump on Paul or Paul gets to jump on Bo, neither one of them gets a ranking, which is just, it's insane. It's insane because it's dishonest. Hey, rankings room. Bo, see a top guy? Oh, yeah, Bo Nickel. Oh, yeah, he's a threat. Could he be world champion? Oh, yeah, he could be world champion. He beat absolutely everybody. Like, you've played the matchup throughs in your head. You're sure he could, and maybe even remain undefeated for quite a while, as he's done so far. Oh, yeah, Bo Nickel. Yeah, he can do all those things. Okay, great. Can this guy? No, that guy, no. Can this guy? No, of course not. Can this guy? No. Okay, but they're ranked, and you ranked them. You did this. You ranked these guys. And you're not ranking him, and I'm only sharing for you, like, I know a lot of people that are in that spot, and I've challenged them before. I said, name 5 25-pounders for me. If you want a real literal answer, I've done this 4 times, and all 4 did name 5 25-pounders for me. But not one of them rattled them off. Not one of them was like middleweight, where you go, Chimaev, Izzy, Duplessis, Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa. It's not like that. What's Moreno talking about? I got to do one more fight. Why do you got to do one more fight? Who are you competing against? Who is it that you've decided should get the opportunity over you? And when you tell me who that person is, well, let me ask you a couple more things. Are they a former world champion? If they weren't a former world champion, what is it on their resume that you believe they should get the nod over you? Why is it there should be one more fight? And for all I know, there should be 5 more fights. The foggiest idea. I'm just sharing with you. I'm taking a guy at his word. I'm taking a guy who's main evented at 125. Nobody's main evented at 125. The only guy that could main event at 125 is named Demetrius Johnson, and he ended up leaving. The other guy that could main event at 125 is named Henry Cejudo, and he left the division. Nobody can main event at 125. There is no meaningful piece of business that has been done by a main eventer at 125. So, I mean, I'm just asking. Because if Moreno's not aware of that, and that's what it would appear, it'd appear a bit of a sandhagging. Pro wrestling will do what's called a house show. House show means you got to be in the house to see the show. We don't have that in the UFC. Though it would be interesting, by the way. But we don't have that. So, Vince McMahon, back when I was growing up, the schedule is they would play Mondays and they would play Saturday. And that was on television. But they were on the road and they were performing 252 days a year. So of those 100 matches that you got on television, 2 a week, 52 weeks in a year, you have another 150 matches that you don't see. And Scott Hall, in tag team competition, went to some town and he got beat, right? His team gets beat and then they get on the interstate and they drove up the freeway and they come and they take on that same team, right? They're doing a program together. They're gonna stay together for a while and then the booker will switch them up. But you can go do basically the same thing, just don't do the same finish. Just on the outside chance that some guy was in both towns, you want to protect the business a little bit from kayfabe. But you basically are doing the same thing, right? You're riding in the same car together. You're talking about the match. You're talking about how it could be better. You get to the next town. Scott Hall gets to the next town. Happens to be a TV taping. Where he lost was on TV. He happens to get to a TV taping, and he tells the TV world, I wrestled these guys 2 days ago and beat them. Which isn't what happened. He had lost. Told the world, I beat them. And they get in the back, and the guys come and ask him about it. They go, hey, why are you telling people that you won when we were in St. Paul? Why are you telling the people in Jacksonville that you won when you were in St. Paul? Scott Hall said, because I'm a heel, and heels lie. And it's not necessarily a heel message you're getting out of that. It's understanding that the people here on camera and what I can do with this microphone is going to trump whatever you did, including succeeding, if it wasn't in front of the cameras. And it's what we call a sandhagging. It's what, when you're not understanding your own position. I have not got the foggiest idea who should be in front of Moreno. But when I do hear Moreno's name, I know it, and I know about him. And I know he's main evented before, and I know he's had world championships before, and I don't believe whoever he believes should get the next shot is a former world champion who's main evented pay-per-views before. So I feel as though he's so close to the trees, he can't see the forest. He can't stand back and look down at the board and realize where his standing is at. But I'm just asking, because I've been a bit of a bully and a bit of a jerk as it pertains to Moreno. So if I'm wrong, tell me.